I'm Jesse Smith, 14-year member of the U.S. Army, served 4 combat tours overseas. My wife is in the military. We have 2 kids in the military. I reside in Pell City, Alabama, and I'm just a regular old hard-working person that's willing to stand in and represent the people in the 3rd District of Alabama. I grew up in the projects in Albany, Georgia. Public housing. I was raised by my grandparents, and they instilled in me the purpose and the importance of public service and individual and personal sacrifice for the betterment of mankind. And I've seen that on display many years growing up with my grandparents, who would a lot of times feed people out of the back door of our house. And learning that and realizing that we do have an obligation as citizens to stand up for what's right when we see that there's a whole lot of wrong going on, if you will. Okay, my wife, she's been in the Army going on 25 years. She's a captain in the United States Army. We have a blended family. I have a total of 5 kids. 2 of our kids are actually serving in the armed forces. Our oldest son is serving in the Navy, and our middle daughter is actually serving as a specialist in the United States Army. My oldest daughter lives in Colorado. My younger son is in college in Brewer College in Georgia. He's on a soccer scholarship. And my 9-year-old was just elected as the captain of the Scholars Bowl for his 4th grade scholars team. So I'm very excited about what my family are accomplishing, but it has a lot to do with leadership. It has a lot to do with discipline and respect for each other. And we believe that if we can have and exhibit the amount of respect in our homes, when our kids go outside, then they meet other people on the level of respect. What I will try to do to make their lives better is to be that example. There's not a lot of examples of people who are actually out doing the right things, people who are willing to be held accountable for their actions and take responsibility for the things in which they are elected or that's in their sphere of influence. So I challenge my kids on a daily basis to strive to reach your full human potential. No one can determine how far you can go but yourself, but it all depends on the amount of discipline and respect that you have for yourself. In 2012, I wrote Congressman Rogers a letter detailing issues that I face at the VA hospital. He responded back with a stock letter. He didn't answer any of the questions that I asked, and at that particular time I realized that if you will ignore someone who was prepared to serve their country, you'll ignore the average person. So I took that again upon myself and I spoke with my wife about it, of course, and I woke up one morning. It was probably about 5 o'clock in the morning. I told my wife, hey, babe, we're running for Congress. And there's absolutely no way to get resolution with regards to veteran care, veteran treatment, or the inadequacies within the Veteran Administration unless we have a veteran stand up and advocate on behalf of those men and women who volunteer to serve their country. The feeling that I have right now is a feeling of anger. I haven't served 14 years in the Army. I was in a leadership position for 12 of those 14 years. And every day, every opportunity I had, I would always reassure my soldiers that if you ever had a problem that I couldn't take care of, you could always write your congressman. Soldiers, airmen, Marines, and sailors across the globe have a lot of confidence in the fact that they have someone in Washington that's advocating on their behalf. And to know that the service members that live, the veterans that live in this district, has a congressman that's willing to ignore combat veterans. We know that veterans commit suicide at a rate of 22 per day. And Congressman Rogers didn't find it necessary to even vote for the legislation that addressed mental health. And again, I can't knock him for that. I can only leave that and I guess speak to it with regards to his lack of experience in that area. You can't have empathy for something that you know nothing about. You can't change anything if you fail to focus on the things that are important. And the things that are important in my eyes are people. If we put things in perspective and take care of the people, understanding that all they want is an opportunity to live, to have health care, to be able to go to their families and not be going to them trying to find somewhere to live. There's no way that veterans make up 7% of the population, but 30% of the homeless population. I have a problem with that. So when we talk about veterans and what these men and women have done for our country, to be ignored, that is what I call the definition of being unpatriotic.